Hello and welcome to another Autoflow webinar. I'm your host today, Craig O'Neill. With me is my right-hand man, Levi Linseman. Thank you for joining me, Levi.
Glad to be here, Craig. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today. It's a webinar
Good.
day. We got to be
Yeah,
good. This is going to be
for
fun.
sure.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought, and this is fact, Levi brought this topic up and has been championing the idea and some of the implementations of this, and has even given us some really great guardrails to move through this topic. So Levi, thank you for your contributions to this. It's
You're welcome.
very good
Yep.
stuff. I'm excited for this, and it actually plays really well with some of the concepts that I've been playing with both in my podcast and in general as we present a lot of material to you all. And you hear a lot about inspection best practices. When we say breaking the bay door barrier on this, what I want you to think about is really the concept of we don't like it when clients go back into the shop and there's a kind of a barrier there. And sometimes it's the front counter in the shop. The point is our inspection specialists, our repair and service specialists that are so critical to the success of our business are often unknown entities, mysterious entities, if you will, to the client. We have our service advisors and our service consultants at our front counters or our desk or wherever it is. They're the ones that our clients are creating a relationship with. And I always kind of, wouldn't you wonder who that person is that's making the recommendations on the vehicle or is actually operating your vehicle? I think it's a fair question.
It's a great
And
question.
yeah, and for a lot of the industry, this is just the way it is, and sometimes by design. I've been to many shops, and sometimes the guys that are doing the inspecting might be what you might call gruff. Other words have been used, but not everybody's going to be amiable and willing to interact with clients. But I do believe that the vast majority of our industry, there's people worth knowing in these space. And I got to tell you guys, for me, it was a really, really great week last week. I was in Dallas all the way from Tuesday through Saturdays, pretty much the whole week. And I was visiting with our clients from Australia who were visiting the area before they head to Las Vegas for a conference. And we were doing some shop tours. Folks, I work from home most every single day unless it's event season. It was really, really, really nice to get out and do some shop tours in the area, from Stress Free Auto Care to Christian Brothers, Quick Car, Craig Ranch, all of them wonderful hosts. And then, of course, Golden Rule Auto Care. We went to all of Chris's active locations and also had a chance to visit his new third store. Universally, what I experience whenever I do shop tours and the people that we get to work with is they are some of the most amazing people in the world. It's truly fulfilling to get to go do that. That whole trip for me was just fuel for the connections that I get to make, maintain, and continue to make connections for our clients to be able to communicate with each other. And then everything just gets even more fun. So thanks to all the shops who were involved in that. And I think that the other thing worth noting on that trip is on Tuesday, I deliberately went a day ahead of our Australian colleagues' arrival so that I could do some filming at Golden Rule Auto Care for this topic. So I actually had a chance. Josh Cloutier, who's on our onboarding team, many of you worked with Josh. He was there with his brother Jacob, who's also tied with our marketing team. And we were able to have a really good time. For one, just actually being in person together as team members, but then actually on site at, we chose Golden Rule Auto Care, the Wiley location, to do the filming. So let's dive into this and let's think about this topic as we move in. And this is a term that's come up in some of my reading, and I just felt it was really worthwhile to really capture where we're communicating from again in this industry. Our service specialists are operating downstream of trust. And this is the normal position that we're going to be operating from. I do believe that video is going to make a big impact on this. The poll question some of you saw in the registration. Thank you for answering this. I thought this was really cool. This is where the most recent results are. Registration is still coming in, but actually half of the audience already, case by case basis, is leveraging video in the inspections. To which degree we didn't ask. This could mean educational videos. It could mean moto visuals videos. It could be a lot of different things. So we didn't specify, but this is video period inside of the DVI. A lot of people are using it frequently, some saying all the time, and only a small percentage say they never do. And this fits my expectations. I see video stats all the time in the tool. It is nowhere near the amount of images that get uploaded into the tool, but we do know it happens with consistent regularity, although obviously not as common as images, as I said.
I think when I was in the shop, that case by case right there, 50%, that's where I would fall into. We only
Absolutely.
showed it if the wheel bearing was so loose where it was like, oh my God, we have to show this guy
Yeah,
a
like this
video
is
or a ball
interesting.
joint or a strut,
Mhm.
and that was it. But the use of the videos is it's gonna be the future here.
I agree. And this is why I love that you brought this here. And this, I think, plays into it too, because Levi, we talk about this a lot. Attention is a big problem right now. And with the attention span of the general public and our own, let's be honest, our brains are broken today. The digital world has so many advantages, but it also has some consequences too. And this is down from 12 seconds in 2000. Most of this is based on a very accessible Microsoft study. What I thought was interesting as I dove back into this topic with some research is that there's claims that video extends the attention span to up to 2 minutes versus just text or other things.
And I think
I
we're
have
all guilty
opinions
of
on
that,
this.
of the 8 seconds. Even,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, we might not all be it, but scrolling has definitely affected our attention span for sure.
It's been a pet project of mine combating this right now. And I'm raising kids who have phones. They're all of an age phone necessary. A 16-year-old, almost a 21-year-old, and 14-year-old. Man, it's all over the board. They have phones, and they're not allowed on social media. At least my two younger ones. But man, you can just see. And you know what's funny? My son is a great example of this. He learns a lot on YouTube. In as someone with general interest in automotive maintenance and repair, he's on there a lot doing a lot of research, and everyone's guilty of this too. You can go just learn from valid channels, but let's face it, people do Google searches all the time. They look at how a repair procedure goes, and it's great to see this sort of thing. And I kind of have to surrender my preferences of learning, of which is usually text and book and reading. I remember personally better when I read, but video, I have to acknowledge, is something that society is using today. And there's some further stats that have challenged my own perspectives on it too, and why I've had to stretch myself to potentially embrace this stuff. They're saying that of learners that uh, the retention, uh, they only keep 80% of what they see and 20% of what they read. Visuals are also a lot faster to process, and most people being visual learners, of which I certainly am, I think that makes a lot of sense. But it's that after 3 day piece that was also interesting to me, where the claim here is that 65% of retention of visual content that's pretty good. Someone who's doing teaching, I feel that's very high versus the 10 to 20% retention of text.
Was there an age category on this, or was
No,
it
I'd
just
have to
okay?
dive into
I know it was kind
specific
of
age
random,
splits.
but I was
Yeah,
thinking maybe attention spans are shorter
I'd
for
want to see the
people that have
generational divides. Yeah.
exactly. That was my point right there.
Hmm. Yep. I'm with you.
Yep, where we read maybe more as in our people in our 40s, and we learned that way. We didn't have access to videos
Correct.
like we do now, you know?
Yeah. And I've opposed using video for a lot of things. I deliberately try not to be on YouTube much or any of that other stuff. But this was interesting because if video is saying they improve learning by up to 400%, I want to dive further into those metrics. These claims come from multiple sources here, but if information from video is actually 83% easier for people to recall, I'm fairly sure that's going to be talking to a younger generation. For me, it just doesn't jive with my own reality. I can blink and remember what I read, and I'll retain it for a very long time. So I don't think it's true of all people, but I think it's worth saying. The thing that I was pulling from the research is there's an impact on retention of knowledge through video that is seemingly worth paying attention to. So take it how you will. This was also another interesting statistic. 83% easier to recall versus text. That's information from a video. This wouldn't surprise me in today's world. I talk to a lot of people, and this is true even within our industry. I like when I get into a conversation at a meal, I'll ask, any books you're reading? It's like, you'll get that mixed answer sometimes where someone say, I'm not really a reader. And that's okay. A lot of people are listening to books and other things too. And certainly they're consuming a lot of other video. I think this is just somehow where we're at now.
Yeah, you're
Where
right.
we're at.
Yep,
And
that's exactly it.
TikTok and YouTube are all proof positive of it.
How can you grab their attention? And that's how it sticks. And
That's
that's how
how it
we
sticks.
remember. Yep.
And back to that downstream of trust element, the trust problem in our industry is well established from AAA studies on this one. 2 out of 3, I've heard as high as 75% to 80% of the folks that are doing business with us, our clients, the motorists, simply don't trust the repair facilities. And the number one cited fear, we've talked about it before, is that we're going to upsell them something they don't need. And we just have to hold that truth in all of our interactions. Obviously, your good clients are going to grow to trust you, but those are your good clients. The new people coming in the door, there's a process of establishing trust. And I do think these videos, as we're going to be discussing them today, are going to be a game changer for this. All right. So, Levi, one of the things that when we started on this topic, this isn't just about the case by case videos or an educational piece. We're actually talking about a little bit of a narrated video by the technician in the bay on it's kind of a recap summary of his findings throughout the inspection process.
Yeah, it's a really cool way, looking at this, video humanizes your team. You could have a lot of long-term customers come to your facility and they see your technicians walking by, never said hello to them, never even know who's the guy that's working on it. The advisor's always been the face of the company, and we're trusting the advisor to have all the trust, right? That it's going to be done right, that we're going to do a good job by them. But it'd be kind of nice to know, all right, when Steve walks by through the door or I see him out in the parking lot, hey, there's the guy that worked on my car.
Mm-hmm.
He's making it safe and reliable for me. And maybe I might even go up to him and shake his hand, or go and just have some more appreciation to who's actually working on the car.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of times I've even seen the language shift to your technician is working on the vehicle, or with Carm's Rise language, we use phrases like your service specialist or other terms like that. And that your is really nice, but if you still never met the person or heard anything about them, much less have a clue of what they look like or sound like, and voice conveys a great deal of character itself. You'll see some examples here later, folks. But I want you to think about these videos as a means of showcasing the professionalism of the people working in your repair bays. And that's what's going to be the primary focus of our conversation today.
Exactly,
And
because they're not just grease monkeys that are working on the
I
cars.
know.
I mean, that
Yeah,
term,
I
we
know.
want to bury that term, because these guys are highly skilled technicians that are
Yeah.
working on all the computers, the
Yeah.
electronics on your car, and they're doing a great service for us. And sometimes that's so downplayed, and I just, it bothers me.
Oh yeah, and some people's experience with the person doing the work on the vehicle is sometimes just the remnants of grease in their car, and there's problems that can go in this. And I want to also stress that we're talking about use of video, but that isn't saying don't do images. There's certainly going to be cases where a video is better than a picture. I put an example of this. This is one I often train with, a true image of my own vehicle when a spring broke on our 2002 Odyssey. And I used the markup tool in Autoflow deliberately to just make a bunch of arrows and boxes and captions just to highlight, like, okay, you could go overboard on this stuff. You could have all these arrows and boxes and captions, and if you want to read them, yeah, they would actually kind of explain things to you. I actually really like to be able to read stuff like that. Uh, but it's overwhelming for a lot of other people. A simple video with someone narrating it would be far more superior in this particular case to help understand the problem. So now we talked a little bit about the why. We talked about transparency, all the reasons why I think video is worth going into. What we really need to do is talk about how, and this is evolving. This is evolving in our industry. It's evolving in our own application at Autoflow. And I think that what we have settled on for a best practice that we can actually teach and that you can implement today, we have a framework here. And it's going to be literally this afternoon, you could apply it. And I can promise you this, because when we were practicing this at Golden Rule Auto Care, it was a busy day. And we even got the technician who we'll introduce shortly here, got him to do his first video recap summary inside an Autoflow DVI on a waiter vehicle. And it was really cool.
Was there any
Uh,
pushback from him, or did he embrace it? How did
no,
he feel
not
overall?
Zach, not the man at Golden Rule
All right,
Wiley, man.
nice,
He was doing
nice.
great. There was a couple other technicians that were legitimately swamped. So, and one that was a little nervous. So you
It's
got to
trying
find the right
something new.
candidate.
Everybody's going to be nervous trying something new.
It
That's
was
okay.
actually pretty funny. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have some stories on that.
it's
uh,
brand new, but this is going to elevate the DVI world. I mean,
absolutely.
transparency builds trust is like our motto, but this is going to elevate
Yeah.
that to such a different level, I think.
Yeah, this is the way to let the client into the bay. In my opinion, getting clients into bay, especially since most of them are dropped off anyways, we're not doing a whole lot of waiters in the shop these days. Even if they are waiting, a lot of times we don't want to bring them back there. It's like this line that thou shalt not pass. And here we go, right? This is the script that Levi put together, and it is short, guys. We are looking literally to just keep this at 20 seconds target. 30 seconds is probably even long in some of this. And we'll go through some of the mechanical nature of how it works here in a moment too. But this is the introduction. Levi, run through it.
Okay, the intro.
Yeah.
And it's basically the technician starts at the front of the car. Thank you for choosing the shop name. My name is Levi. I'm your certified specialist. I'm performing a health and safety report for you on your 2001 Toyota 4Runner. And then you start lifting the car or going around. Right now, the way that we go, number two, hood open, the health, showing the engine, showing the battery results. We say that the fluids are topped off and checked. We check their filters, their cabin air filters, tell them that the wipers are in good condition. I will now lift the vehicle and look at the things underneath. Car goes up. You can actually pause the video too inside of our tool. So you can pause it, and then underneath of the vehicle, we start at the rear. Starting in the rear, I noticed you have a bad sway bar link or strut. The rest of the rear suspension is in good condition. And then we walk through the center of the vehicle, checking the exhaust and the drivetrain, telling them of the conditions that we found, also looking for fluid leaks at that time. Then we get to the front. In the front, we found your bad control arm. This will need attention, but your struts are good. The rest of it's good. And then you just kind of continue on through that, moving to the safety specs, the tires on the vehicle. And this is a good point. You can walk around with a tread depth gauge or even like a digital one at this point. Show them with your phone the tread depths on it. Tell them that the tire pressures were checked to spec, and then we do a brake inspection. Let them know the millimeters front and rear, and then that's it. That's the close. This concludes your health and safety report. Your service advisor will call you shortly to go over the results. Thank you for choosing our shop, and that's it. So this can be done in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Under 2 minutes is the goal.
Yeah. And why I would recommend having a script, and we have a PDF form of this. So at the end of this webinar, if you want to email us for a PDF of the script on this, please feel free. The reason I use a script is not to have them verbatim, of course, read it, but just to have something that gives them a guideline. And what we're about to show you, I think, is going to function even better because as we were talking earlier, we could give them this text and they might remember some of this, but we have some example videos of our time.
But a good outline here, Craig, is something
Mhm.
for all the techs to do it all the same. So we all do
Yes.
it, and this is the standard at our shop.
Oh, yes, Levi. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
then it's
so
not
consistent.
4 different inspections from 4 different techs, and you know how that happens when
Yeah.
when you when you give that to those guys in the back.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's take
But
a look at some examples from Golden Rule. And I'm hoping this audio comes out really good for you guys. I'm sharing from my PC here. So let's start with this. And it's going to be in a little bit of a different order, but I'm going to explain. We're going to do some pros and cons on this, and we'll want some comments from our audience here too as we go
Hello,
through.
my name is Zachary, and today I'll be looking at your vehicle. Starting in the rear, your rear suspension is all in good condition. Your rear brakes have good life left. Your exhaust system, moving up, is all good, in great condition. Moving up to the engine, and the reason you came in was for an oil smell. We noticed that your valve cover gaskets are leaking pretty good, and they're leaking down onto the exhaust manifolds, which is causing that oil burning smell. Moving on to your front suspension, all of this is good and tight. Your front brakes are in great life left. And there's no other further leaks. What we will need is an undercarriage clean after replacing the valve covers to see if there's any other further leaks.
And then a separate video in this case.
Continuing to the top side of your vehicle, we do see the front valve cover is leaking down onto the other manifold, causing that oil smell still. Your air filter is clean and your fluids are all topped off. Thank you for choosing Golden Rule.
And that looks super easy to do. You have the tablet in your hand, you have your light in the other, and I've seen guys with different lights that are, I mean, you can have the pen style lights. It looks great.
To the top.
Yeah, no, I agree, Levi. Yeah, this was again, Zach's first time doing this exact type of video process. And I thought he did a really good job. There was only a couple outtakes on this, but you notice how he introduced himself. He's articulating everything. And what we're doing in this, by the way, is we're showing you a video of him doing the video. And what he's actually recording is the smaller section there. I'm going to show you what this looks like on another example here in a moment from the client view inside of Autoflow. But there's a couple of things I thought worth pointing out on his process. The thing that I discussed with him when we were there is, dude, just do your inspection routine around the vehicle. He was already acquainted with it before we even asked him to do this video, which means he had already done his inspection. And that is my chief advice on this. You'll notice that he already knew a lot about what he was going to say because he had already done the inspection. So what we're not asking technicians to do is film themselves on their initial pass around the car. And I've talked about this before, and Levi, we talk about this all the time. I never do my initial inspection pass. I have my own mental routine around the vehicle. I will not even do it with my phone in my hand.
Yeah, it's a good way to you get your process down, and then you go to do the walk around, you do your shakedown, you check for fluid leaks, and then you start documenting your findings afterwards.
Correct. And that's why with the script too, we kind of naturally found ourselves doing this in reverse order when we were at Golden Rule Auto Care. And the reason I think is because in his routine around the car, he's finished his inspection while it's up in the air. So we did the undercar part first and then shifted over to the underhood piece, because why raise and lower it when it's already up in the air, and then it's just a matter of lowering it in that case. So a couple of things just came out of this that my experience in the shop that I hadn't anticipated, but it's also why being there on site and working with individuals on this particular project was so valuable as well. And Zach was just a great candidate. And as the team at Wiley will tell you, he also is a Jeff Gordon lookalike. Yep. So let's look at the next example here. The next example is on, actually, I think this one technically was the first vehicle we did.
My name is Zachary, and I'll be checking out your vehicle today. Starting in the rear, we first noticed that your rear axle has started to seep, along with the rear bump stops are starting to deteriorate. We recommend replacing those on both sides. Moving up in the vehicle, we notice your drive line is all good. No seep set there. Along with your transmission pan and oil pan are all good. Moving up to your front suspension, we noticed that your lower ball joints have play on both sides, and your sway bar end links are also worn. We recommend replacing both of those. Your front left shock is also starting to seep. And after replacing that, you will need to do an alignment.
Okay, notice how the video stopped right there, and it is a separate video file. One note I want to make on this is Zach is actually recording natively on the camera app of the device that he's holding. We used a Samsung tablet, I think, on one pass, and we used an Apple one on the other, similar quality across the board. And that's worth noting, though, is while you can upload directly to Autoflow and record directly in the application, one of the things that I've done for this is I kind of like to just do the whole recording inside of the camera application and then upload the video or hand it to someone to upload for that matter. And you're all set. And so that creates a natural breaking point. And I'm going to show you the client view in a moment, but I want you to look at part 2 of this vehicle's inspection.
Moving to the underhood portion, we notice that your brake fluid is full. Your windshield wiper is topped off. We notice that there's a little bit of spillage from the previous oil change, but no leaks can be seen. Moving on over to the other side, we notice your coolant is at proper capacity and your air filter is all clean. Looking at the other side, there's still no leaks to note, and your battery cables are clean.
Okay, a couple
great
more
job.
points here, and I'll just put these on the screen again. Notice on the video on the right that he's holding a device that looks almost exactly like this one. It is because it is. This is a Google Pixel, folks. It is not an Apple. And the video quality was really, really good. So I'm just going to say that to all of you that love Apple, and you all know my opinion on this stuff. The video quality out of a decent, good, modern Android, even the baseline Pixel 10, not a Pro, was fantastic. So that point aside, here's the thing I want to draw attention to on this one. Now, we had already had this vehicle inspected, and there had already been a photograph of the air box, the filter. We didn't have it out for this video. What would have made this a stronger video is if some of that stuff was already still laying out, so you could actually see that it had been opened. Little things to think about on this. This was the first vehicle I remember, because we nearly hit our head, as well as Zach nearly hit his head on that trailer hitch. It's a real skull crusher, that one.
Those always get my shins.
Yeah, it'd be a shin buster too when it's lowered. Yep. But no, there's a little improvements on that, and I thought it was really good. And I remember talking with him too, like, should we mention that spillage around the oil change, like the repair history on this one? Golden Rule Auto Care did not have any repair history available on this particular vehicle. I think it was for them a first-time visit, but it was a non-condemning, just passing statement about how it looks just like a little bit of spillage there. It just conveys so much in a few blips of a second about the attention to detail that he's actually putting into his observations. And I think that speaks volumes to what we're trying to do with this. Notice in this particular video case on this one, he's not dwelling heavily on the things that we have identified, although he has certainly mentioned them. This is a recap video. So we're getting them a broader sense of the vehicle while simultaneously proving to him that we care about the broader sense of health for this vehicle as well. The still images that we can produce accomplish this in many ways, but you don't hear the tone of voice and the professionalism. And I got to give props to Zach on this. He was the perfect candidate at Wiley. We had him mic'd up with, I had the Rode Wireless Go microphone on this, so the audio would be very clear for our purposes in this webinar. But I'll show you in a minute, the audio still will come through on the device as well. But that getting his voice in this was key. Jeff Gordon would be proud, I'm sure.
He did a great job on this.
He did. No, and I really appreciated that it didn't take a ton of time in order to produce these examples, didn't disrupt even getting the workflow on this, being that this is the first time and a new technique for them while the shop was busy. I feel very encouraged about saying, guys, try this out. Pick the champion in your shop who can do this sort of thing. It'll just take you a little bit. Show them these examples. We'll have this recording up soon. Give him the script.
Yeah, and I think even on his time, it wasn't more than 2 minutes. It was only like 1 minute and 40 seconds. I think it was what I timed on that.
Yeah, it was really, really short. So let's take a look now inside of the application in Autoflow. And I want to highlight this in a couple of different ways. Let's zoom in a little bit here too. This is a full screen view of the client view of the digital inspection. So when I say that this is what the client sees, I mean, this is what the client sees. Fortunately, there's no information on the individual client on this, so I can share this real actual inspection from Golden Rule Auto Care Tuesday last week. In Chris's shop, he has his set up so that the video presentation shows up at the top part of the screen for the client. Now, what's great about this is that when you do click this, it is going to have the videos in whatever order the service advisor laid it out in. And I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like and sounds like here. We'll let the video load here. Got a lot going on the computer today, but we should be able to play this.
Zachary, and I'll be checking out your vehicle today. Starting in the rear, we'll be seeing, we first noticed that your rear axle has started to seep, along with the rear bump stops are starting to deteriorate. We recommend replacing those on both sides. Moving up in the vehicle, we notice your drive line is all good. No seat set there. Along with your transmission pan and oil pan are all good. Moving up to your front suspension, we notice that your lower ball joints have play on both sides, and your sway bar end links are also worn. Sway bar end links are also worn. We recommend replacing both of those. Your front left shock is also starting to seep.
Yeah, I knew this would happen to me. There you go.
And after replacing that, you will need to do. And after replacing that, you will need to do an alignment.
So once he finishes this, the video gets the end and automatically plays
the
in the next
underhood
one.
portion. We notice that your
There's nothing wrong with those sway bar links. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But no, this is again, that Pixel 10 video is this
is at
one.
proper capacity, and your air
Really happy
filter is
with
all
how
clean.
crisp and
Looking at the
clean
other
that one
side, there's
was.
still no leaks to note. And your battery cables
Even
are
zipping
clean.
around and it's really smooth. Oh yeah, here we go.
The lower ball
Great.
joint consists of a steel
playing.
stud with a ball on the end, enclosed in a nylon-lined casing. The joint is filled with grease in order to reduce the wear rate. The spherical joint allows the steering knuckle to rotate so that the wheels can turn, and also allows the suspension geometry to change when the tire hits a bump. The ball joint becomes worn when the nylon that lines the socket wears out. This causes looseness in the ball joint and can cause clunking noises and uneven tire wear. In some extreme cases, the ball joint can separate, leaving the vehicle undrivable.
Oh, that's scary.
And for those of you that don't know this, those modal visuals can be attached automatically to the inspection when you tag those items. So they
Correct.
can pop up. It's super nice.
Yeah, those educational videos from Moto Visuals. I just had a meeting the other week with David Little, and great organization, great people, great content. Autoflow is a reseller now for Moto Visuals as well. So we can, if you aren't using that already, talk to us. We can get you spun up on that really quick. I want to highlight something else. So the video presentation is at the top, and we do want to confront people with video right at the top now, because we know a lot of people like to start with videos. But you're going to notice as you continue to scroll through the report, you can watch individual videos one at a time, and it'll play whichever one you click into. And the educational videos will be also attached to the proper line items. So you have this whole video presentation piece at the top, but you also can count on the client to be able to scroll through and click individual things one at a time. Really, really good, I think. All right, a couple of things on that. I did pick up on a few things that I wanted to draw attention to regarding those videos and how they played and what was happening. Did you hear the audio in the one here of the street noise? It's busy street outside. Actually, everywhere in Dallas is a busy street. If those of you haven't been there, my goodness. I think you're going to see horses and pastures. No, it's highways and trucks. Listen to this, though, on that first video.
Today, starting in the rear, we'll be seeing, we first noticed that your rear axle has started to seep.
Terrible here.
Along with the rear bump stops are starting to deteriorate. We recommend replacing those on both sides. Moving.
Yeah, we cleaned that audio out of our actual video file. But what I wanted to draw attention to on it is like, hey, background noise is a reality that you will have to deal with. And different times of years at Wiley, it'll be more of an issue than not. This was a day, it was warm at 70 almost outside, and the doors were open. So the street noise was the main thing that was coming through. Some of you have different kinds of noise coming from the shop, the air hammers, the impact guns. Some of those things, those loud percussion type instruments are going to probably go through a little unfiltered in this right now. There are some ways around that with video.
I have a good point to add here. Is
Please.
Okay, so working in the shop, we know air hammers are rattling off in the background or air guns.
Hmm.
I mean, we could also, if it's too loud to narrate, we can just let the visual do the talking.
Hmm.
Maybe if it's a leak, we can just come up, show the leak or show the play at that point, still keep moving.
Yeah, you can. And those quick targeted videos are still very useful in this. But the value I feel in these is actually having the individual doing the inspection. Now, I will say this, inside of those videos that Zach was doing, you never see Zach. You see his hand and his flashlight tapping that ball joint at one point, but you don't see him. I do believe that in most professional environments, having a reverse that thing. Hello, I'm Zach. I'm whoever, right? Do that little intro, then flip that camera back around and then continue to do the thing. I think that would be perfect in most cases. I know some of you might fear that for
That
yourselves.
or also we have the profile picture built in inside of the tool where we could
Yeah.
have Zach at the very bottom of that inspection
Correct.
show up and there's his face right there.
Yeah, it would have been good. So he wasn't the primary technician listed on this technician. Another new, very new technician was who didn't have his image inside of Golden Rule on that particular case. But you do see Johnny there. Johnny's a good egg. He sang a song for our colleagues who are in from Australia in the lobby with the guitar that they have in the Golden Rule Auto. It was really cool. It was really cool. Good team. But yes, those images down at the bottom of that are wonderful for this. And when you also have the voice to go with it, it's fantastic. Levi, anything else you picked out on those videos?
I thought they looked great. Even with the noise, yeah, okay, there's going to be noise, but it still picked it up, and we can talk really close to our devices. So that
Yeah.
would be my recommendation: is just getting it very as close as possible and review it. And it's always going to be a concern for techs. How long is this going to take? And it doesn't take very long. So as long as we have our process defined, then we can just keep practicing it and
Yeah.
honing in on that. And that's what it's all about, is just having
Yeah.
a clear process every time.
Yeah. And I'll reiterate again, for the purposes of our video production, where we wanted to film the technician doing this and have very clean audio from a microphone, we had a professional microphone on him. But the video that the client had inside of Autoflow was simply the video recorded at the device that he's holding with no special microphones whatsoever. And it was still very good just because of his proximity to that device. And most devices are that way. So don't feel like you need to go getting a professional mic on your technicians to do this. I think whatever devices
They're not
you are,
expecting a TV production. They're
right.
going to be wowed at this, that you're actually doing
Correct.
it. I'm looking at it from my perspective of a customer, because I've had to deal with that recently because I don't work at a shop anymore. And
Yep.
and seeing that, if I get that, I'm going to be like, yes. And then it also invites me to ask questions of them, because sometimes we know that guys miss things. They do. It's not intentional, but they could have missed a leak that I could have saw in the video and be like, hey, how much is it to fix that? And point it out and just get that conversation going.
Yeah. No, there are. We had a great question from Philippe on this. Are there any Bluetooth microphones you would recommend instead of the built-in microphone on your recording device to improve sound quality and reduce background noise? Honestly, a lot of technicians probably already have their earbuds on and in, and they have microphones with excellent call quality. It is probably your best bet for them to be able to do that. And a lot of the guys are okay using their phones. And Levi, I don't know about you, but I do ask this question a lot when we're training with shops, and I asked some of the guys here as well. Zach personally preferred not to use his own device for the vehicle inspections. Just, you have a separate barrier from work stuff and your personal stuff, and that's understandable. But a lot of technicians are very comfortable using their phones. And I'm going to tell you all this. A lot more shops are getting used phones or older phones, no cell connection on it. Just let it connect on Wi-Fi. And
yeah, that's all you need is a Wi-Fi device. Hooks up. They're inexpensive compared to a tablet. And it's also a good way to get our tool work and see if it works for you. And if there's not a huge cost or a huge investment to try that.
Yeah, it's not. But those earbuds too.
I know the younger guys. Yeah, I think the earbuds are awesome. That's a great idea.
Yep. You don't want to share those though as a shop tool, I'm guessing. But no, the headset Levi's wearing, and also this one right here. This is Jabra, these are a little pricey. This one is probably, back in its day, was probably around $200, but you can pop that on your head, pull the mic down, mute when you pull it up, and it can pair to any device, and it's just over the ear that way. These sort of things, you can get some that only have one ear cup too. And
I would think with the advances in technology, though, even a pair of JBL earbuds that you can use, they have really good sound quality.
Yep. But again, the sound quality in the mic on the phones isn't bad. And sometimes if you're recording in the native app, like, and this is a big reason why I do encourage it, when you're recording in the native application, the camera app on your device, a lot of times those video apps these days will mitigate some of the background noise as well. And look at the quality, play with a few different things, listen to that. I think you'll be impressed. It's a great question, Philippe, and it's a good topic. And I will tell you this, we've talked about it a long time ago. It's probably worth revisiting. We did a blog on this. When it comes to video quality, you could have fuzzy quality, little blips of visual stutters and various things, but the audio quality will dictate the person's patience to continue through. If the audio quality is bad or gravelly or grainy or just too loud, a lot of times they'll abort that. So please do pay attention to audio, but don't get hung up on it either. Audio quality matters more than the quality of the image, though. All right. So, and there was a couple other things that I did want to note in the video. You did notice, like, occasionally there was like a little bit of a finger or something washing over the top of it. Try to mitigate that, but you notice it wasn't disruptive. You might not even noticed it until I mentioned it. But I got to say, again, with Zach, he was like laser focused. That device was steady. It was aimed at the right things as he's going through the process. He had it dialed in. All right. Now, procedurally, let's talk about this a little bit more because there's some reasons that this can be make or break. A funny story. Golden Rule Auto Care, I was talking to the service advisors. All right, guys, here's what we just did, and here's how you can use it. And we opened up the video on the workstation there, and we realized not only did the monitors not have any sound, but there was no speakers at all on their computer to be able to listen to the video at the main service advisor workstation. So of course, I let Chris know right away, say, hey man, we need to upgrade the computers at the front desk. No, we did put the request in with Chris. I'm sure they will do something. But the other way for the service advisor was to simply pull out his own device that he's logged into Autoflow on and listen to the video. I needed them to understand what it was that we accomplished and how their clients are going to view it. Once you know how it is, you should be all right. But the reason I do want advisors to be able to see and hear the video is to be that frontline defense of making sure something is ready to be consumed by the client. I would love to say that all of you that I'm speaking to today never have to worry about your technicians putting anything questionable out there that the client might consume, but we are talking about videos, and audio is a component of it. It might not even be from the lips of your specialist in the bay, but it could be something in the background bay or somebody else in the shop that's using expletives, or there might be some inappropriate music and a variety of things that you do need to be on guard for. This is going out there. It's supposed to be transparent, but there's some things that you don't want to show your client. We want to show professionalism all the time. And really, this is the same thing we teach with any digital inspection process. We always review all findings. So when you're doing video, that's part of the findings. You're going to review the video as well. When they're short and sweet, it will not add a lot of time to your review process. Then you do your estimates, you prepare the presentation, you get it sent. And what I want to remind you of is that when we are doing videos inside of Autoflow, I'll just open up one of these ones I've done a completed DVI on here. When you're going through as a service advisor, let's pick something that probably has a Moto Visuals video on it here. So good. And I'll just add another red mark on this item here so I have more to play with. When you're doing your review process, you have the chance to actually change the play order. And if you aren't aware of this, we have this preview option right here, the button you click, or you could copy that link and put it in a fresh tab. And you actually, that's what this dotted line section here is for. This is not shown to the customer, anything inside these dotted lines. This allows you to change the order of the videos inside of the client view. So now when that's the front one here, the client will actually see that video first. And then when it gets to the end of that video, of course, it will transition next into, yeah, oops, it didn't update that yet, but it would have done it. There we go. This would be the first one, and boom, then it opens into that one. So that is your method of changing the order for the client to consume. And we had another question here from Dave.
It's a great question too.
Yeah, let's read that one here. We are asking a tech to do more and more. Oh, it's such a great question. I know exactly where you're going. Our shop's paying their techs to do the inspection with the videos. Our techs take about 18 to 20 minutes to complete a quality inspection. Yeah, so hopefully this would only add like 40 seconds, but obviously the first several you do are going to be a little clumsy. You're not going to like the way it came out, or you're going to say something that you wish you would have said differently, and all those variables go into it. Chris's shop, they're hourly. They're paid for the time that they're at the shop, and there's production incentives. So there's less of an issue there. But yeah, there's a lot of different pay plans out there on this.
I've been talking to, oh, sorry to interrupt,
no, please,
but
Levi, go ahead.
I've been talking to a few shops, and some of the shops, off the top of my head, they're paying 0.2 for an inspection.
Yep, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. I've heard it all, and it's different in every facility I've been to. The key is, if we are asking technicians to take time, the area I see the most issues with is if you have a straight up flat rate technician and you're asking him to be a component of building this out. That said, some of the earliest and best uses of video in the automotive repair industry came out of dealerships who are emphasizing this. And it is the dealership technician that is typically the one that all the earliest examples I've seen of doing something like this were in dealerships, not in aftermarket repair facilities. And as you know, dealerships, the vast majority of them are also flat rate. I couldn't tell you what their pay plan was for some of those, but it is short and sweet. I'm going to say this on the dealership versions too. They didn't do anything beyond the video in most cases, only a video. And I will say this, if it is only videos that I get, I do not like that. I do not. I like having images and notes to go with it. The images and notes are still key. I would hate to have to constantly sift through a specific spot on a video to get to a specific thing I wanted to show somebody. I want to make sure that they can scroll to it, see it, it's documented, and it's clear as well. Great question, though, Dave. Great question. Yeah, a few of the guys with the waiters, one of the younger technicians at Golden Rule Auto Care, wasn't as excited to be a subject for learning something new while they had waiters in the lobby. But because Zach was very confident in where he was on things and an eager student, movie star, yeah, whatever, it went really well. I really think since we are asking techs to do a little more, but what it actually does, I think conveys enough to they'll justify very quickly with the improved report that will lead to improved sales and improved connections, hopefully for the shop with the client. The why is so important on this. I'm going to also reiterate that we do not need to do this with the actual service specialist. This can be the service advisor doing these sort of things, or it can be the walk-up portion of the inspection as well. Anything that's demonstrating and capturing the voice of professionals in your shop will work. And some facilities even have specific individuals whose primary function is to help and support this particular process. So if you have someone who's articulate and enjoys doing these sort of quick things, knows how to upload them into Autoflow, it can supplement the technician's findings very quickly and easily as well. So don't feel like it has to be the guy that did the inspection. Hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, rearranging those videos, very helpful. The idea is to make sure you are previewing this and that we're delivering things to the client, and use that video as a good conversation starter. And I put that point into this very deliberately because when the client's opening the inspections, we've talked a lot about this, our sales techniques and how we go through things on the inspection. There's other webinars we've done. I'm not going to go into too many of these points today. I just want to reiterate that the video should help support your conversation. And the way you want to do the videos in your shop needs to be in line with how you plan to do a presentation here as well. The best part about those recap videos versus just individual videos on individual line items that have specific problems. Remember the sway bar video, very specifically that sway bar link, cool little video. Video recap is proving to them a lot of things are in good condition on that vehicle and that you looked at the whole thing, which helps support a client's buying decisions to invest in the vehicle altogether. If you have a really shoddy looking car and you have to give your advice and opinion on those things, you're going to have to give your advice and opinion on it. Like, hey, if we take care of these red items, yeah, it might be a big old list, but at least you have the whole context of the vehicle. Whole context of the vehicle. I can't stress.
Good to build value.
Yep. And this is a topic I've been raising on the podcast too. There's sales approaches out there right now that deliberately reveal things to clients in a gradual way. That's once you get a quick yes on one thing, then you reveal more things later on as you progress. And my approach, if you were going to take an earnest approach, is you've assessed the vehicle fully before you're giving advice and recommendations and getting approvals. And that is the earnest approach to doing this always. And you'll have packaged up those simple options and you're good to go. Now, for those of you using electronic approval forms, I brought this old slide back again just for this case. I really don't want approval forms to be used as a order taking type of thing. It's overwhelming for clients unless you are recording some video perhaps about your recommendations on there, which is a use of video that could be done, that could be an aid for an electronic approval. What I never want, though, is an electronic approval to land on a client's lap without having a conversation with a service advisor where those recommendations are made very, very, very clear. And then, of course, I do still encourage you to track approvals. Remember, those are very useful for our follow-ups and the rainy day folder. And yeah, so the main point is this does really enhance every single portion of the process. We talked on the inspect, send, sell approach. This is our very summarized version of this. I've added to this the video recap of approximately 20 seconds. I don't think it's a huge ask if we're just doing pictures on red and yellow items, a few pictures of good stuff too. Maybe even if we're not doing the pictures of the good stuff, a video recap instead, I'd be okay with that as long as the video is showing good elements on the vehicle as well and gives that holistic sense of the inspection. And of course, we talked about sending it. Make sure you send it every single time. And the real key thing is that we're guiding clients through the entire health report. We are using the inspection to counsel and advise. And the word sell is not a dirty word in my book, but counsel and advise is what we're doing. We're helping them make buying decisions that matter. And of course, tracking this stuff inside of Autoflow. If you weren't already aware, inside of Autoflow, you can track the actual, I'll go to Wiley here and we'll go pop into a DVI report just a moment. You can track the use of videos very, very easily. We'll go right into the DVI report. What I wanted to highlight, however, was the pills at the top. This is not going to transfer over to my screen easily. I knew it. I would hit something like this. There we go. All right. The pills right at the top, these are customizable. You can change your settings. You can see how many videos. This is the video pill right here. But if you did go into settings, you'd actually be able to go and change this, not to just videos, but also videos per DVI so that you can see an average amount of videos per inspection form that your team is actually doing. And that's one of those pieces I would encourage you to track if you are interested in pursuing this topic further, which I hope that you are. Okay. Any other questions? I think.
Not from me.
Yeah. So yeah, what changes? It's really not a lot. Just start setting the expectation, folks, right at check-in. If you start adopting this process, get your technicians on board for this. Let them know, hey, your inspection specialist today will be doing a short recap video, and that'll be inside of the inspection as well. And I think you'll find that very informative. So make sure you look for that in the results. That's the only thing we'd be changing inside of our expectations at the check-in. And then they record that recap. The technicians are going to do that piece. Every other element of their inspection can remain identical. Your whole standards and your routine do not need to change at all. It is just one little thing that we're hoping will be a absolute game changer for you and drive a little bit more excellence in the industry. Listen, I do talk about topics related to this, especially that defeating the trust issue, being downstream of trust and what this means. There are some other shows on the podcast network I'm a part of, so I do want to encourage you to listen up to that. The Speak Up podcast is mine. There is a new app that you can download on, yes, Apple and Android. And we really appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for your comments and your questions here as well. And folks, look, I'll recap it with this. Breaking that bay door barrier, the whole idea on this is trust. The whole idea on this is a deeper connection with your facility, a stronger relationship with your clients. Yes, I do expect this will have an impact on sales. And if you want to talk about this stuff or you have further questions, and if you would like the script that we're using that Levi helped put together, reach out to us here. Levi, any final remarks?
I do. I think we're just skimming the surface here. We're just starting with this, and it's cool how the advancements in technology are happening around us and how we can use this in the shop environments and how we can set ourselves apart from the guy down the street, or how we can just set ourselves apart to the customers to tell them that we I'm going to say I'm butchering that, but genuinely care about their vehicle. And that's what we're doing. We're just making sure that they are safe, that their vehicle is reliable, that their time and their money are valuable, and we care. And I feel as a customer that I sense that if I see those videos come through.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, yeah, it's a powerful selling tool, and that's great, but it's also, I don't know, it's just a way to open up a little bit more. And I think that's nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Levi. No, I agree. I agree completely. And I've been one of the guys that's like, yeah, videos. Man, I read so much faster than I can watch something. I'm personally biased against videos. That's who I've been. And I've mentioned it before on a number of topics, but this has started to change my mind as we've gone down this road. And that's all I can ask. Hey, consider this, folks. The tool itself and Autoflow especially, very well tailored towards adopting this right away. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to assist. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Look for the next webinar next month. We'll have some of those coming out for you as well. Don't forget to check out the podcast. Stay tuned to our release notes. We have some exciting changes. Guys, we are very near the end of the road for our V3 to V4 updates here in Autoflow, important architectural updates. That means the active customer page and the DVI, those heavy use pages that you are oh so familiar with. They're about to receive that update, and we're excited for it. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.